Hi everybody. This is the beginning lesson for credit recovery. It's the first unit is going to be on sequences, and the first lesson in the first unit is also called sequences. So our essential question is, what is a sequence and how do I find the next terms in the sequence? So the first thing we're going to do for this first video is we're just going to define some things, and then we're going to ask you if you remember what the definitions are. So we're going to go ahead and start. If you haven't already, or you can print off the notes, or you can just go ahead and write them on a piece of paper. It's up to you on how you want to do your notes. So here we go. A sequence is a list of numbers or objects. Okay, so it could be a picture, is what it's saying. A list of numbers or objects in a special order. Okay, some sort of special order. And we're going to talk about the different types of orders in just a minute, at least two of them. So I have an example right here. My example is 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25. And then the dots at the end right here means that sequence just, the order just keeps going. It goes on and on and on forever. So that is the basics of our sequence, and that's what it means. Now we're going to define a few things in this sequence. So I'm going to slide it up just a little bit, sorry. And the first word here is going to be term, and it's pretty easy. It's each number. Ooh, so sorry. Let me fix that here and try this again. Each number in a sequence. Okay, so I'm as long as I'm doing this really quick, I just want to say I have put all of these definitions in a glossary at the bottom of the module. You'll notice it says glossary. All these words will be in a glossary. So if for some reason you forget what one of them is and you need to go back, you can go into the glossary and look at that. That's just out there for you. So each term, and that means every number in the sequence, every number is a term. That means 1 is a term, 4 is a term, 7 is a term, 10 is a term, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25. Every single little number in there is a term. Each one of them is a different term. Okay? So we can have lots of different terms in a sequence. So now we're going to get to our first type of sequence. Our first type is called an arithmetic sequence. And if you think that you know what the word arithmetic means, and if you think it means, what do you guys think it means? What does arithmetic mean? Think about it in your head. And then we're going to define it here. So it's a sequence made by adding or subtracting. Okay, I can either add or subtract to make an arithmetic sequence. Adding or subtracting the same value each time. Okay, so I mean adding the same number, or I'm subtracting the same number. So let's look at our sequence. We have the same sequence again. I'm just using the same one. How do I get from 1 to 4, and 4 to 7, and 7 to 10, and 10 to 13, and so on and so forth? Well, what am I doing? I'm adding 3. So I'm adding the same number or the same value every time. I'm adding 3 to each term to get to my next term. Okay, that's how I build a sequence. At least an arithmetic sequence, I add the number before. So how would I get the next term? If I'm here, right, I add 3, 23 plus 22 is 25. Well, what do I do to get my next term? 25, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add 3. So 25 plus 3 is 28. And then I just move my dots over, and it would continue on. And that's how we find the next terms in our sequence. Okay, good job, you guys. We're going to go on, and then we have what's called a common difference. Okay, common difference is the constant number being added or subtracted throughout an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so it's what's being added or subtracted through my sequence. So in this case, I know I have an example down here, but I'm just going to kind of go back up to the one I've already done so I don't have to redo it. What's my common difference? I have it right here. What's my common difference? It's what's being added or subtracted. Well, what am I adding this time? My common difference is plus 3. And yeah, I'm going to write plus 3. Okay, I could write 3. I like having the plus because in the next lesson, in the upcoming units lessons, we're going to need that plus or minus. If it's subtract, we might use that a little bit. So I like putting plus 3 there. Just preference, I guess. So here we go. Good. Are we okay so far? Good job, you guys. We've got 2 more definitions to go. Now we're going to talk about a geometric sequence. Okay, a geometric sequence is made by multiplying. Multiplying the same value each time. So notice it wasn't multiply slash divide. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, just a little bit now, and we're going to talk about it more in the upcoming lessons. When we start writing formulas, we don't really want to talk about dividing. We want to talk about multiplying. And so really, dividing is just multiplying by a fraction. And we will explain that more once we get to that part. So we want to just really talk about multiplying. So I just want to kind of just make you aware of that fact. So if I look at this sequence, I guess I want to say it is, how do I get from 2 to 4? Yes, I can add 2 to get to 2 to 4, yes. But if I add 2 to 4, I don't get 8. So it's not adding 2. Well, how else can I get from 2 to 4? Well, I can multiply by 2. Well, is 2 times 4 8? Yep, multiply by 2. Is 2 times 8 16? Yes. Is 16 times 2 32? Yes. So how am I getting to each term? I'm multiplying by 2. So if I actually wanted to get to the next term in my sequence, I take 256 times 2. Oh no, I didn't figure that one out ahead. 256 times 2. I'm going to work this out here. That's a 12. That's a 10, 11, 4, 5. 512. So my next term would be 512. And then my dots would just move over. How do I find my next term? I multiply by 2. Okay, is everyone okay with that? Great. So our last definition, I guess you would say, is common ratio. My common ratio is the constant number being multiplied throughout a geometric sequence. And again, it's the constant. Constant means the same number. So again, what am I multiplying by? Yes, 2. So my common ratio, this time instead of common difference, CR, common ratio, is going to be 2. And I don't have to put times 2 because my definition of a common ratio is what's multiplied, not being what's added or subtracted. I have 2 choices for common difference. I have 1 choice for common ratio. I'm multiplying. Okay, good job, you guys. We're just gonna do a quick little activity on these definitions. I hope you were paying attention, and then we'll be back with the second half of this lesson. So we'll see you in just a few moments. Thanks. Bye, guys.